Hi, I am Mrs. Cluff, and this week we are celebrating Earth Day. And so I wanted to share a story of a scientist who had worked really hard on protecting sharks. You know, Earth Day is about protecting our environment and the animals and people and plants that live here. And she's one that took the responsibility of helping sharks. So this book is called Shark Lady. It's this true story of how Eugenie Clark became the ocean's most fearless scientist. It's written by Jess Keating, and the illustrations are by Marta Alvarez Miguens. And this is published by Source Books Jabberwocky. So it was a Saturday, and Eugenie wanted to stay at the aquarium forever. She wanted to smell the damp, salty air and stare at the glittery rainbow of fish. She wanted to keep watching her favorite animals, the sharks. See the shark? Eugenie pretended she was walking on the bottom of the sea. What would it be like to swim with her sharks, to breathe underwater with gills of her own? More than anything, she wanted to find out. When the summer came, Eugenie's mother took her to swim at the beach in Atlantic City. Stuffing sticky gum into her ears to keep the water out, Eugenie dove down, down, down. The salt stung her eyes, but she didn't want to miss a single fish. Constellations of sea stars speckled the pebble sand. She imagined a silvery fin standing strong on her back, slicing through the ocean current. To others, sharks were ugly and scary, but Eugenie knew they were beautiful. As she glided through the cool water, she wished everyone could see sharks through her eyes. But the sharks were only in her mind for now. Eugenie decided to learn everything she could about them, so she dove. You can see all the different fish and plants she found in the ocean. So she dove, this time into books. Whale sharks, nurse sharks, tiger sharks, lemon sharks. Eugenie wanted to know about them all. She also joined the Queens County Aquarium Society as its youngest member. Eugenie's notebooks were filled with sharks. They swam in her daydreams and on the margins of her pages. At home, Eugenie's mother surprised her with an aquarium of her own. A 15-gallon tank was much too small for sharks, but Eugenie saved her allowance to buy guppies, clownfish, and coral red snails. It felt as big as an ocean in her room. Their small apartment became an aquarium, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. You see all the fish that she's collected for her aquarium. As she grew older, many were still telling Eugenie what to do. Forget those sharks, be a secretary, be a housewife. Eugenie wanted to study zoology, but some of her professors thought women weren't smart enough to be scientists or brave enough to explore the oceans. And they said sharks were mindless monsters. Eugenie knew better. Her dream was as big as a whale shark. So again, Eugenie dove. You can see she's incredibly determined to make her dreams come true. She plunged into every course she could. Her laboratory became her home. From sunrise to sunset, she studied how fish grew, how they behave, and how they were put together both inside and out. Despite all the people who didn't believe in her, Eugenie was becoming one of the smartest students in her field. Even after she earned her degree, many still doubted her. There she is, getting her degree. In Isla Majoris, she dispelled the myth that sharks must keep moving to stay alive. When she swam through dark caves, still and silent, full of resting sharks. Eugenie's daring heart grew bolder with each dive. Soon they began to call her Shark Lady. Eugenie had proven she was smart enough to be a scientist and brave enough to explore the oceans. So here she found sharks resting, dispelling the myth that they had to keep swimming. As her courage grew, she began to love and understand her beloved sharks more and more. But she never forgot many still believed that sharks were mindless killers. Because of their scary reputations, humans were hunting sharks all over the world. Eugenie knew that sharks weren't stupid or mean. She was determined to prove everyone wrong. You see headlines of them being dangerous and food, shark food, but she is going to make a difference. Eugenie fished through her mind and devised a brilliant experiment. Could she train a shark the way a person trains a dog? Were sharks much smarter than anyone knew? They were. Eugenie was the first scientist in the world to train sharks and even learned they could remember their training for at least 2 months after. So you can see she trained them to push a button and then she would feed them. Pretty smart, right? Sharks were not mindless killers. Sharks were beautiful. Sharks were smart. They deserved to be studied, protected, and loved. And Eugenie's dream was now a dream come true. So Eugenie Clark went to school. She studied hard. She became a doctor, and she really did a lot to protect sharks. She lived to be 92 years old, and she celebrated her 92nd birthday by scuba diving with a group of divers in Jordan and Israel. She did pass away in her home in 2015, but as you can see, everything that she has done has left a legacy where we are able to read a book about all of her achievements. I am so glad you guys joined me for this story. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.